You're staring at the screen, heart pounding, because the man you thought you knew has vanished. Johnny Depp, yes, that Johnny Depp has stepped onto the set of the biggest Christmas Carol remake in decades, and the footage leaking out is pure nightmare fuel. He's not just playing Scrooge. He's become him. Gaunt, twisted, eyes sunken into a face that looks like it's been carved from old leather and regret. No wig, no prosthetics they'll admit to. This is Depp going full method, and insiders are saying it's destroying him. One crew member who just walked off the London soundstage told us in a voice shaking with disbelief, "We didn't recognize him on the first take. He shuffled and hunched over, voice like gravel soaked in whiskey, and half the cast actually gasped." Someone whispered, "Is that even Johnny?" He heard it. He smiled a crooked smile and said, "Good. Scrooge doesn't want to be recognized either." But here's where it gets ugly. Sources close to the production claimed Depp's radical transformation wasn't just for the role. It was a silent scream after years of Hollywood exile, tableau, wars, and a very public heartbreak that never fully healed. Whispers of screaming matches with the director in the dead of night. A leading lady who stormed off set after Depp refused to break character even during lunch, hissing at her, "Tiny Tim's dead and so is the man you think I am." And then there's the leaked text from his own daughter, Lily Rose, begging him to stop before the role swallows him whole. Fans are losing their minds online, posting side-by-side photos of the Pirates-era heartthrob next to this hollow-eyed phantom, typing, "What have they done to him?" in all caps. But the real question burning through every whisper in Tinseltown tonight is darker. Did Johnny Depp choose to disappear into Scrooge? Or did the ghosts of his past finally drag him there? Stay right there. Because what happened next on the closed set will make your jaw drop, and the Christmas Carol will never be the same again. It was supposed to be just another holiday blockbuster, but when those first raw dailies hit the private screening room in a foggy London warehouse, the entire production team froze in collective horror because the man shuffling across the digital slate wasn't the dashing Captain Jack they remembered, or even the courtroom warrior who'd fought his way back from the brink. No, this was something ancient and broken, a skeletal figure with skin stretched tight over cheekbones that looked ready to slice through parchment, and eyes that had seen every regret the world could offer, and the director himself, a grizzled veteran who'd helmed 3 Oscar winners, slammed his fist on the table and shouted, "What in God's name have you done to yourself, Johnny?" while the rest of the crew whispered in stunned disbelief because Depp had arrived on set 3 weeks earlier, already halfway into the abyss, refusing makeup trailers or hair departments, insisting that Scrooge's misery had to come from the marrow, and now here he was unrecognizable even to his own longtime assistant, who burst into tears right there in the control room sobbing, "I can't even tell if that's him anymore." The transformation wasn't just physical, it was soul deep, and insiders later revealed that Johnny had locked himself in a damp rented Victorian flat for a full month before cameras rolled, living on nothing but black coffee and stale bread, journaling every bitter thought that crossed his mind until the lines between actor and character blurred into something dangerous and terrifying. And that's when the real drama ignited, because on day 1 of principal photography, Depp refused to break character even when the cameras stopped rolling, stalking the soundstage in threadbare Victorian rags, his voice a low guttural rasp that sent chills through the lighting techs. And when the beautiful young actress cast as the ghost of Christmas past tried to joke with him over craft services, "Hey Johnny, want a coffee?" he turned on her with eyes blazing like coals and hissed, "Tiny Tim is dying and you offer me coffee as if the world isn't crumbling around us." And she backed away, pale as a sheet, later confiding to her agent that the way he looked at her made her feel like she was staring into the face of a man who'd lost everything twice over. And the arguments escalated fast because the director kept pushing for lighter takes to keep the film family friendly, but Depp would explode in the middle of rehearsals, slamming his cane down so hard it splintered, shouting, "You want Christmas cheer? I'll give you chains forged in life, dragging behind me for eternity." And the crew started placing bets on how long before someone walked off the set entirely, while whispers spread like wildfire through Hollywood that this wasn't acting, this was Johnny exorcising every demon from the amber years, the custody battles, the career exile, and the public humiliations that had left him a ghost long before Scrooge ever entered the chat. And then came the first major twist that left everyone reeling, because during a late-night confrontation in his trailer, the director accused him point-blank of self-sabotage, yelling, "You're not saving this movie, Johnny, you're burying yourself alive." And Depp just stared back with that hollow smile and whispered, "Maybe that's the point. Maybe Scrooge and I both deserve the grave we've dug." And right then his phone buzzed with a frantic text from Lily Rose, his daughter, begging, "Dad, please come back to us. This role is eating you alive. I saw the leaked photos and I don't even recognize my own father anymore." And the whole crew overheard him reading it aloud in a broken voice that cracked with raw pain before he crushed the phone in his fist and stormed out into the rain-soaked night, refusing to return for 2 full days, which sent the producers into panic mode because insurance was already screaming and the studio execs were demanding daily updates on whether their multi-million-dollar star was having a full-blown breakdown or delivering the performance of the century. And when he finally reappeared, it was with even deeper shadows under his eyes and a new intensity that made every scene feel like a confession, because now the emotional stakes were personal. He started improvising lines that cut too close to the bone, muttering about betrayals in the night and lost loves that mirrored his own very public heartbreaks so vividly that the actress playing Belle broke down in tears during their confrontation scene, whispering off script, "Johnny, what are you doing to yourself?" And he grabbed her wrist with surprising strength, hissing back, "I'm showing them what it feels like when the ghosts come for you and they don't let go." And that moment went viral when a sneaky extra leaked the footage, sending fans into absolute meltdown across social media, with hashtags like #Scrooge trending worldwide and comments flooding in from millions saying he looks like he's aged 20 years in a month. Is this method acting or a cry for help? And the family drama exploded behind the scenes too, because Amber Heard's name started surfacing in hushed conversations as crew members claimed Johnny was muttering her name in his sleep like a curse during overnight shoots. And one night, after wrapping a particularly brutal graveyard scene, he cornered a producer and accused the entire industry of being complicit in his past trials, yelling, "They dragged me through the mud and now they want a cuddly Christmas ghost story, but I'm giving them the truth, the ugly truth." And the producer tried to calm him down, only to get a face full of scripted venom about chains and regrets that left the man shaken for days. And then the second massive twist hit like a freight train when a close friend from Depp's inner circle, a supposed confidant who'd stuck by him through the darkest times, suddenly leaked audio to the tabloids of Johnny ranting in full Scrooge mode about how Hollywood had become his own personal hell. And the betrayal cut deep, because in the recording you could hear the raw anguish as he confessed, "I became Scrooge the moment they tried to bury me alive, and now I'm dragging every last ghost with me." And the friend later claimed it was to protect him, but the damage was done, sending Depp into a fury that resulted in a screaming match on set where he pointed a trembling finger at the entire cast and crew and roared, "You think this is entertainment? This is my life bleeding out for your amusement." And emotions ran so high that security had to step in to prevent an all-out brawl, while fans outside the gates held candles and signs reading, "Bring back our Johnny and save him from Scrooge," creating a circus of divided loyalties that split the internet right down the middle, with some calling it genius performance art and others demanding the production be shut down for his own mental health. And through it all, the personal stakes kept mounting, because Lily Rose flew in unannounced one stormy afternoon, confronting her father in his dressing room with tears streaming down her face, pleading, "Dad, this isn't you anymore, you're scaring us all." And he pulled her into a hug that looked more like a man clinging to a life raft, whispering back, "My little one, the ghosts have me now, but maybe this Christmas I can finally lay them to rest." And the tender moment leaked too, sparking a wave of sympathy from supporters who flooded social media with stories of their own family struggles mirroring the on-screen redemption arc. But the drama wasn't done, because the leading lady, who'd grown dangerously close to Depp during those intense night shoots, confessed in a private call to her therapist that she'd fallen for the tortured soul beneath the makeup or lack thereof. And when she tried to express her feelings, he recoiled like a wounded animal, snarling in character, "I have no room for love, only ledgers of pain." And she stormed off set in heartbreak, accusing him of using the role as a shield against real connection, which led to another explosive argument in front of the entire crew, where accusations flew like daggers about betrayal and abandonment and unresolved pasts, until the director called a halt and forced a 2-day shutdown. And meanwhile, back in the States, Johnny's ex-partners and old bandmates were reaching out in concern, with one musician friend texting him, "Bro, you're disappearing on us, come home before the character wins." And that only fueled more paranoia on set, where Depp started suspecting everyone of being spies for the studios, or worse, for the ghosts in his head. And the third jaw-dropping twist arrived when, during a pivotal scene involving the ghost of Christmas yet to come, he actually collapsed on the cold stone floor from sheer exhaustion, his body finally giving out after weeks of self-imposed starvation and isolation. And the paramedics rushed in, but he waved them off from the stretcher, croaking, "Let me finish the take or Scrooge dies with me." And the crew was left divided, some calling it dedication incarnate, others labeling it dangerous delusion. And as he recovered in the hospital wing, the family rallied, with Lily Rose camping out by his bedside reading old childhood stories to remind him who he really was, while the producers debated firing him, only to realize the footage they had was pure gold, the kind of raw, unfiltered emotion that could win every award in the book. And when he returned stronger, but somehow even more gaunt, the intensity skyrocketed with new dialogues he improvised about forgiveness and second chances that had stars openly weeping and fans speculating wildly online about whether this was Depp's way of announcing his retirement, or a desperate bid for one last iconic role that would eclipse everything before it. And the betrayals kept piling up when another insider sold photos of him practicing alone in the empty studio at 3 a.m. hunched over like a true miser counting imaginary coins with tears in his eyes, and the public outcry reached fever pitch with petitions circulating to investigate the production for exploiting a vulnerable star and support groups forming for fans triggered by his visible decline. And through every heated exchange, every whispered accusation, every tear-stained family intervention, the story twisted and turned like the foggy London streets in the film itself, because just when it seemed like Depp might break for good, he delivered a monologue in the final act that left the entire cast speechless, a raw and scripted outpouring about how every man carries his own Marley's chains forged from mistakes and lost loves and public shamings. And the director later admitted in a private meeting that he'd never seen anything like it, calling it the most haunting performance he'd ever witnessed. And yet the personal cost was mounting daily, with Johnny confiding off camera to a trusted makeup artist, "I don't know if I can find my way back from this one. The role has its hooks in me deep." And the artist nodded in silent understanding, knowing the whole world was watching this real-life Christmas Carol unfold in real time, with emotions running higher than any holiday special could ever capture. And the fan reactions poured in like a tidal wave, some creating fan art of the transformed Depp as Scrooge, others launching GoFundMe campaigns for his supposed recovery fund, while tabloids spun wild theories about secret rehab stints and hidden affairs on set. And the family remained fractured, with Lily Rose posting cryptic messages on her socials about loving someone enough to let them go, and old friends from the Pirates days sending care packages that arrived at the set only to be refused because Scrooge accepts no gifts. And the betrayals layered on when the very director who'd fought to protect him started leaking behind-the-scenes stories to boost publicity, calling it tough love. But it felt like another knife in the back, and Johnny confronted him in the rain outside the warehouse, yelling, "You turned my pain into trailer bait." And the director shot back, "I'm saving your legacy, you ungrateful ghost." And the two men stood there drenched and defiant until a crew member stepped between them, diffusing the standoff. But the tension never fully dissipated, because every day brought new revelations about how deeply the role had intertwined with Depp's real-life struggles, the financial battles, the legal wars, the public scrutiny, all refracted through Ebenezer's lens, until the line between fiction and reality dissolved completely. And insiders claimed he started dreaming in Victorian English, waking up screaming about lost opportunities and the weight of chains that clanked louder than any special effect. And then came the resolution tease, when after a particularly cathartic scene where Scrooge finally sees the error of his ways, Depp broke character for the first time in weeks, collapsing into the arms of the cast and sobbing real tears that felt like a breakthrough. But the very next morning he was back in full miser mode, refusing breakfast and muttering about coal and ledgers, leaving everyone wondering if the healing was real or just another act. And the stakes couldn't have been higher, because the film's release date loomed like a specter itself, promising to either redeem Depp's career or expose the depths of his unraveling. And fans were split right down the middle, some boycotting in protest, others camping out for premiere tickets. And the Hollywood machine churned on, with agents whispering about Oscar buzz, even as the human cost piled up in quiet hospital visits and late-night family calls. And through it all, the drama kept unfolding in ways no script could predict, because this wasn't just a movie, it was a man staring down his own mortality on camera for the world to see. And as the final takes wrapped, the crew gathered in a circle around him, some clapping, some crying, some still angry from the arguments. And Depp stood there in his tattered coat, looking every inch the redeemed yet forever changed Scrooge, and whispered, "Thank you for letting me disappear so I could finally be seen." And the words hung in the air, heavy with unresolved questions about whether he'd ever fully return from the abyss, or if a part of him would always remain lost in those foggy streets forever. And the entire saga left Tinseltown buzzing with speculation that this Christmas Carol wouldn't just be a film, it would be the performance that defined an era, and the man who risked everything to become unrecognizable in the name of art and truth and raw unfiltered humanity. It was supposed to be the triumphant return to glory, but as the final slate clapped shut on that rain-lashed London soundstage, the real storm was only beginning, because Johnny Depp emerged from the Scrooge cocoon not as a redeemed star, but as a man fractured in ways no one could have predicted. The crew erupted into awkward applause, some clapping out of relief, others out of sheer terror at what they had witnessed over the last grueling months. And as he shed the tattered coat for the first time in weeks, revealing the gaunt frame that had lost nearly 30 pounds, his longtime manager burst through the doors with eyes wide, yelling, "Johnny, what the hell have you done to yourself?" The studio is on the phone screaming about insurance claims, and the tabloids are already circling like vultures. But Depp just stood there, swaying slightly, his voice still laced with the gravelly Victorian rasp as he muttered, "Chains, my boy, chains of our own making," before collapsing into a nearby chair. And the emotional conflict boiled over immediately, because Lily Rose, who had been waiting in the wings, rushed forward, wrapping her arms around her father, sobbing, "Daddy, you promised you'd come back, but you look like a stranger." And he held her tight, whispering back, "My little flower, the ghosts don't release their hold so easily, but for you I'll try." And the tender father-daughter moment was captured on a fan phone smuggled past security, exploding across the internet within minutes, with millions commenting things like, "This is too real, or is Johnny okay, or the role broke him forever, and the family drama deepened when his ex-partner Vanessa Paradis reached out from Paris in a series of frantic voicemails begging him to seek help before it was too late, her voice cracking with old affection and concern, saying, "Johnny, we built a life together, don't let this character steal what's left of you." And the betrayal hit like a thunderclap when an old bandmate from the Hollywood Vampires leaked those voicemails to a gossip site claiming it was to force Johnny into rehab, but insiders knew it was pure jealousy over the spotlight, and Depp confronted the friend in a hotel suite screaming match that lasted hours, with Johnny accusing him point blank of selling his soul for clicks, yelling, "You were supposed to be my brother, not another ghost rattling chains in my ear." And the friend shot back, "You're the one who vanished into this madness. We all tried to warn you, but you wouldn't listen." And emotions ran so high that hotel security had to escort the bandmate out, while Depp was left pacing the room in a fury that mirrored Scrooge's own rage at the world. And then came the unexpected twist that no one saw coming, because during early test screenings of the raw footage, a mysterious studio executive leaked an alternate ending where Scrooge rejects redemption entirely, staying bitter and alone, a version Depp had secretly filmed in the dead of night without permission, claiming it was the only honest conclusion. And when the director discovered it, he stormed into Depp's suite at the Dorchester Hotel, red-faced and roaring, "You sabotaged my movie, Johnny. This is supposed to be a feel-good Christmas tale, not your personal therapy session." And Depp fired back with a crooked grin that didn't reach his eyes. "Therapy? What do you know about therapy? I lived the chains for months so the audience could feel them too." And the argument escalated into a shoving match that left a priceless vase shattered, and the director threatening to pull Depp's name from the credits entirely, until producers intervened with hush money and is flying like confetti. But the damage was done, because that leaked ending went mega viral on TikTok, with fans divided into warring camps, some praising Depp's artistic integrity, others accusing him of turning a beloved classic into a dark psychological thriller. And the personal stakes skyrocketed when Lily Rose posted a tearful Instagram story hinting at family therapy sessions, saying, "Sometimes the people we love most disappear into their pain, and we have to fight to bring them home," which sparked a wave of support from A-listers like Keira Knightley and Helena Bonham Carter, who had worked with Depp before and now publicly urged him to step back from the edge, with one posting a cryptic message about the dangers of method acting that everyone knew was aimed straight at him. And the reactions from fans poured in like a tidal wave, with petitions reaching over 1 million signatures demanding the studio release behind-the-scenes footage to prove he was okay, while conspiracy theorists claimed the whole transformation was a publicity stunt orchestrated by Disney to revive the Pirates franchise in Scrooge form. And through it all, the betrayals kept multiplying, because a former assistant who had been fired after clashing with Depp during the isolation month sold a tell-all interview to a British tabloid detailing how Johnny had once locked himself in the bathroom for hours, muttering about lost millions and courtroom lies that echoed the Amber Heard saga. And in the interview, the assistant tearfully recounted a night when Depp grabbed him by the collar, his eyes wild, screaming, "You think I'm crazy, but I'm the only one seeing clearly. The world is full of Marleys dragging their ledgers behind them." And the assistant's words spread like wildfire, reigniting old debates about Depp's mental state, with some outlets calling for a full investigation into on-set safety, while others hailed it as the realest performance since Brando. And the family was left divided once more when Depp's sister Christy flew in from America for an emergency intervention, confronting him at a private countryside estate, with the whole clan gathered around a roaring fire, where she accused him of self-destruction, yelling, "Johnny, you have grandchildren who barely recognize their grandpa in those leaked photos. Stop hiding behind this character and face us." And he responded with a monologue that left them all speechless, pulling out a crumpled script page and reading aloud in that haunting Scrooge voice about how every soul carries invisible weights from betrayals and public trials, until tears flowed freely and even his toughest relatives softened, hugging him tightly as he whispered, "I'm trying to come back, but the role won't let go just yet." And that family gathering leaked through a distant relative's loose lips, sending the tabloids into overdrive, with headlines screaming, "Depp family fractured by Scrooge madness." And the emotional conflicts intensified when Amber Heard herself broke her silence in a subtle podcast appearance, alluding to past relationships without naming names, saying, "Some people never truly heal, they just wear new masks for the cameras." And everyone knew it was a dig that cut Depp to the core, prompting him to fire off a late-night text to a mutual friend that read, "She's still haunting me like the ghost of Christmas past." And the friend foolishly shared it with a reporter, leading to another explosive twist where Depp sued the friend fined for breach of trust in a quiet London court filing that made headlines worldwide, and during a heated phone call caught on audio, Depp could be heard yelling at the friend you chose sides again, just like in the courtroom days, and the friend retorted, "I'm protecting you from yourself, Johnny. This obsession is killing your legacy." But the lawsuit only fueled more speculation about unresolved grudges, and as post-production wrapped with editors splicing in Depp's improvised rants, the studio execs held secret meetings debating whether to market it as a feel-good holiday flick or lean into the dark drama for Oscar bait. And the director, who had reconciled somewhat with Depp after a boozy dinner, confessed to a confidant that working with him was like directing a live wire, saying one minute he's the charming pirate, the next he's a broken miser, and I never knew which version would show up. And the confession somehow reached Depp, who confronted the director at the mixing studio with a voice trembling with accusation, yelling, "You used my pain for your reel and now you want credit for taming the beast." And the director shot back, "I saved your ass from walking off set a dozen times, you ungrateful ghost." And the two men laughed bitterly, in the end toasting with whiskey to the madness that had bonded them. But the laughter was short-lived because a major health scare hit when Depp fainted during a voiceover session from what doctors later called severe dehydration and exhaustion, sending him to a private clinic where Lily Rose camped out again, reading him holiday stories from his childhood to anchor him. And in that vulnerable moment he confided to her in a raspy whisper, "I became unrecognizable so the world could see the truth, but now I fear I've lost the man I was." And she replied through tears, "Then let's find him together, Dad, before Christmas comes and the world sees only Scrooge." And that bedside reconciliation went semi-public when a Nurses Anonymous post described the scene, sparking global sympathy campaigns, with fans sending care packages and messages of love that flooded the clinic's mailroom. And the twists kept coming when an unexpected ally emerged in the form of a veteran actor who had played Scrooge decades earlier, reaching out to Depp with words of wisdom, saying, "Son, I lost myself in the role too, but you have to choose the light or the chains will win." And Depp invited him to the final dub session where they shared stories over tea, leading to an emotional dialogue captured on mic with the veteran saying, "You're not alone in this darkness." Johnny and Depp replying, "But the ghosts feel so real, they whisper my name in the night." And the exchange added layers of depth to the film, but also reignited debates about whether Depp was truly recovering or still trapped. And meanwhile, back in Hollywood, agents were whispering about a potential sequel or a Broadway transfer with Depp attached, but he shot down the rumors in a rare off-character interview clip, saying, "One Christmas Carol is enough for any man's soul." And the family drama reached a boiling point when his son Jack visited unannounced, bringing his own young family, only to find Depp still slipping into character during dinner, muttering about coal and poverty, until Jack exploded in frustration, yelling, "Dad, snap out of it, my kids are scared of you." And the accusation hung heavy, leading to a raw heart-to-heart where Depp broke down, admitting the role had blurred every boundary and promising to seek full therapy once promotion wrapped. But the betrayals weren't when a paparazzo snapped photos of the family dinner, leaking them with captions implying abuse and neglect, which prompted Depp to chase the photographer down the street in a scene straight out of a tabloid fever dream, shouting, "Enough is enough, my family is off limits." And the chase video went mega viral, with fans cheering his protective streak while critics called it erratic behavior. And as the premiere date approached, the studio threw a lavish red carpet event in New York where Depp arrived looking somewhat restored but still hauntingly thin, and when a reporter asked him point blank if the transformation was worth it, he leaned into the mic with that famous smirk and said, "Worth it, ask the ghosts, they'll tell you the truth." And the audience erupted in applause mixed with nervous laughter, because everyone sensed the unresolved tension beneath the surface. And the leading lady, who had confessed her feelings earlier, showed up as his date, sparking fresh rumors of a budding romance that had the tabloids buzzing with headlines like "Depp finds love in Scrooge shadows." And when asked about it on camera, she blushed, saying, "He's a complicated soul, but the man behind the makeup stole my heart." And Depp pulled her close for a photo op, whispering in her ear loud enough for nearby mics to catch, "Maybe this Christmas the chains finally break for both of us." And that moment sent fan forums into meltdown, with theories ranging from fairy tale ending to calculated PR stunt. And the personal stakes hit their peak when during the after party a surprise guest arrived, none other than a reformed industry insider who had testified against him in past trials, offering a public apology that left the room silent as a tomb. And Depp stared at him for a long beat before extending a hand, saying, "Even Scrooge found room for forgiveness, but the ghosts remember every slight." And the handshake was captured in a viral clip that divided opinions once more, with some hailing it as true redemption and others accusing Depp of performative healing. And through every twist, every argument, every tearful family hug, and every leaked betrayal, the story of Johnny Depp as the unrecognizable Scrooge became the defining saga of the year, a real-life Christmas Carol where the lines between actor and role, fan and critic, family and fame blurred into an emotional rollercoaster that kept the world hooked. And as the lights dimmed on the premiere night, with the film rolling to thunderous applause, the only question lingering in every heart was whether Johnny had truly emerged from the abyss, or if a part of him would forever wander Those foggy streets searching for the man he left behind in the name of art and the ultimate dramatic performance. And so the fog lifts on this twisted Christmas carol. But the questions linger like Marley's chains rattling in the dark. Johnny Depp, the man we once knew as the swashbuckling heartthrob, has vanished into Scrooge's hollow-eyed shadow, and no one, not even his closest family, is sure he's ever coming back. The on-set meltdowns, the leaked family pleas, the betrayals from friends and foes alike, the raw improvisations that bled his real-life scars across every frame. It wasn't just a performance, it was a public exorcism that left Hollywood divided, fans heartbroken, and insiders whispering that this could be Depp's final, unforgettable bow or the role that finally broke him for good. Will the ghosts of his past finally release their grip, or has he traded Captain Jack's charm for Ebenezer's eternal regret? Is an Oscar waiting in the wings, or will the next headline scream, Depp's despair? The drama isn't over, it's just paused until the world sees the finished film and decides if art was worth the human cost. You've been glued to every shocking twist, every tear-stained confrontation, every moment where the line between Johnny and Scrooge dissolved into pure chaos. Now it's your turn to weigh in on the madness. Hit the like button if this transformation left you speechless. Smash subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next explosive fabricated Hollywood saga dropping straight into your feed. Drop your hottest take in the comments right now. Do you think Depp went too far and needs saving? Or is this the greatest comeback in cinematic history? Tell us, would you let a role swallow you whole like that? Share your theories, your predictions for what happens next, and your wildest what-if scenarios. Your voice fuels the fire, so comment below and let's keep this Christmas Carol conversation trending into the new year. See you in the next scandal, because in Tinseltown, the ghosts never rest.